Welcome to OpenKey Host Training. Today we will be talking about how to put two types of guests in the system: a returning guest or registered guest with OpenKey and a new guest. Let's begin. To begin, you will have to go to the website receptionist.openkey.co. Log in by entering your individual PIN number. Once you have completed this, it will log you in. To your left, you will see my phone screen. This is so that you can follow along with what the guest sees. The first type of guest will be a brand new guest. In order to insert a guest that is brand new to the system, you will simply click on Add Guest. You will enter their information, their country, and phone number. You will notice here below the email portion. This section does not need to be filled out, as it does not have a red asterisk next to it. The only time this needs to be filled out or used is if the guest is an international guest and leaves their phone in airplane mode. The reason being is that if they are on Wi-Fi, they can still receive email and will be able to receive their 6-digit PIN through email. In this case, we will not be using that. The next step after entering the information for the name, last name, and phone number is to click on check-in date to ensure that the check-in date is the correct date. The check-in date will always be the default of the day of, and the checkout date will always default to the day after. If they're here more than one day, please click on the calendar, change the date, and click on the screen again, and it will change the date. Once this is completed, click on the room number that you want to use. And the room type will automatically be selected if it has been used before. If it has not been used before, simply click on the room type and select the correct one. Once you've completed this, you will click on Submit. But before we do this, let's talk about adding an additional guest. If you need to add an additional guest, click on Add Another Guest. In this case, we will not be doing so. But to add an additional guest, all you have to do is place the name of the guest in the guest name box, select the correct country code, and put in the phone number. Again, all boxes that have a red asterisk next to them have to be filled in. If you are not going to be using an additional guest, simply click on Remove, and no additional guest will be needed. In this case, we will hit Submit. Now, as you can see here, I have my OpenKey app open, and you can see where I received the text message and have gotten my room assignment. I will now click on Get My Key. As you can see over here to your right, the system is generating my key. It has now generated my key. And I have received my key already. Now, just because the screen says 2 minutes, that does not mean it will take 2 minutes. That is simply the default screen. The 2-minute default is simply to ensure that there is enough time for the phone to create the connection and receive the key. This allows the phone, if it is in Wi-Fi or cell signal, to try and receive the key without issue. If the countdown goes all the way to 2 minutes, it is more than likely that the key will not be on the phone. And in this case, simply force close the app and reopen, and the phone will resync. As you can see here now, if I click on the orange OpenKey button here, you will see that I have a key. And I will place my phone against the lock to open the door. When the door is ready to open after placing it against the lock, there will be a green check mark in place of the OpenKey symbol. You will also be able to see the hotel I'm checked into, the Wi-Fi name and password, and the room number, and my dates of checkout. Now that you've completed this, this is how you insert a brand new guest into the system. You can see here that they have a key, and when they open the door, you will also be able to see in real time when they have opened it. You will also be able to see if they have additional guests. In this case, we do not have additional guests. If you need to make a change, click on the name of the user and simply change the date, as it is the only thing that you can change, or the room number. You cannot change the phone number. The system will not allow it for security reasons. But let's say I'm going to extend by 1 day. I will click on the next day, and once I'm finished with that, I will come down here to where it says OK and click on OK. This will then send communication to the phone and update my reservation on my phone. As you can see, it's generating the key again, and has generated a key with a new checkout date of the 7th of February. It is that easy. Now, to check out a guest, there are two things that can occur. One is a guest can be checked out manually. And in this case, it should only be used if they are leaving sooner than anticipated. Or we can simply just let the guest expire on the day of their checkout, February 7th at 11 a.m. But in this case, we're going to check the guest out. Now, once I have checked the guest out, the guest will receive a message letting me know that the booking has expired. Once complete, the guest can return to the search hotel screen, and there is no more guest in the system for that room number or name. That is how you enter a brand new guest in the system. We will now go over how to enter a returning user or registered user from OpenKey. I am signed in as a registered user and will now submit my ETA, but I first need to search the hotel I want to go to. In this case, we will search Kiln Creek. As you can see here, there's a picture of the Kiln Creek room and the name, the Lodge at Kiln Creek. I can pull up the Kiln Creek's information, and I can either book now directly, and I can also see what amenities they have, what room types, and what food. Down here at the bottom, you will see where we can enter the date of check-in that I want to send my ETA for, which we will say is today, and my arrival time, this evening at 7 p.m. I will share the arrival information. My ETA has been shared successfully. As you can see, my ETA time is the 4th of February at 7 p.m. and a pre-arrival guest has shown up in the pre-arrival portion of the screen. We will click on the pre-arrival, and we will see here that the one guest that is in here is the test user. Now, to check in this guest, we will click on Check In and ensure that all the information is correct. That includes the driver's license to verify that they are who they are, and the phone number. We also see that there's an email, as well as first and last name. In this case, we will now check them in. As I said before, the check-in date is always the day of, and the default for the checkout will always be the day after. In this situation, we will leave it as is. But we do need to input the room number that they will be staying in. As I said before, the room type will automatically default to whatever room has been chosen for that room number. Again, if you need to add an additional guest, simply click on add another guest. But once again, we will not be adding an additional guest. So we will click on Remove to ensure that it is removed. Once all the boxes with all the red asterisks have been filled in, we will then continue to the OK button and input the guest. Now, this will then transfer the guest from the pre-arrival screen to our guest screen. In the guest screen, you will see that the guest has appeared and has an Issue Key button. This is simply because the ETA has been sent, but the key has not been downloaded. As a guest, I will click on Get My Key, and I will check into my room. The key has been generated, and as you can see now, I have a key. And once again, I can click on the orange button, and the OpenKey symbol shows in the screen that I have a key and need to place my phone up to the door. Once this is complete, the door will open, and again, it will replace the OpenKey symbol with a green check mark. This concludes your training for inputting a new guest or a returning user or registered user of OpenKey. Thank you.